see everybody's in place, so I think they're in place anyway. Let's start with This I Dig of You. And as your director mentioned to the audience, Hank Mobley is one of the heralded saxophone players of all time. And Mike Camaro wrote for the Army Blues over in Fort Myers. He's now the director of jazz studies at Duquesne. And I think this is certainly a well-written chart with a lot of energy. One of the things that I heard that he mentioned in the beginning when you guys were warming up was, this is a choir room. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's not acoustically probably as comfortable maybe as your own environment. It's loud, okay? So sometimes you have to play the room. And I mean playing the room in a couple different ways. Dynamically, certainly, and also honoring, the attraction that's happening at that particular time, meaning the soloist. All right, so we got to make sure if you don't have the microphones here, you're not stacked, in a tier like you might be, say, on risers at home or whatever. So you're kind of like filing in here and trying to get accustomed. Every jazz group, when he plays with Mike Handel's little big band and all that, you try and fit into the environment that you're in, okay? So let's start the beginning of This I Dig of You, all right? And here's what I like to do. I'm just going to put you in my jazz experimental lab. Now, a lot of you good folks I know from summer jazz, so we're not totally unfriendly here. Let's start with a dynamic that is less than forte, and then build to when you get to 7. 7 should be the send-off with a little bit of taper, and which will get you to the melody of 15. But let's start a little bit less, so that by the time we hit 7 and 8, then we can pretty much harness all the energy and put it in the back wall, okay? Let's try it out here. I'll give you 2 for free, all right? Start a little bit less and build. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 10. So you guys know about dynamic contrast. Every stuff you hear, anything you hear out of my mouth will probably be echoes of what you hear over here. We might be saying it a little differently, but you've heard about dynamics, you've heard about contrast and exaggeration. So now we're playing the room, we got to take a little bit less off the front end and let it go a little bit more on a upward swing till we get to that. Now, on the drum set, okay, I don't know everybody's name, certainly no Nick, but 7, if you can set the band up with a 1, drum parts are normally the dumbest things in jazz music. Sometimes they give you an idea, but most of the time they just give you lines. They're called verbals. All right. So if I'm the drummer, and I am not, you got to fill at 6. Yeah. But the most important thing you can do at 7 is what? Set. That's right. Give them a 1. This one. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Drum fill. Boom, okay. And that not only gives them the solid downbeat, so they play off of that on a ricochet, and you're also telegraphing a dynamic. Okay, now it's time, double forte, let's go. Let's try all that again, all right? From the top, a little bit less, and then on 7, you're going to throw a 1 down. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 10. All right, 2 things. Who's got the upper voice in this chorale that we have here? Who do we need to be listening to or referencing? Lead trumpet. Right, lead trumpet in this case. So once again, as I said before, if you can't hear the solo players and you can't hear lead trumpet, then we got to we have to bring everything down so we hear that voice. Okay, is that you back there? Yeah. Okay, I thought so. All right, so let's make sure we hear lead trumpet. All right. And who's responsible for time in the band? This is a very juvenile question. Everyone. You've heard that a million times. Okay, so you have to have an internal heartbeat. If you don't like my tempo, that's the way it goes. If you don't like his tempo, that's the way it goes. If you love his tempo, magnetize to it and let's go. One more time from the top. Why am I spending so much time on this? Because initial and lasting impressions are the most important things. I'm not saying what's in the middle, the stuffing in the middle is unimportant. But if you get off to a bad start, okay, I don't know if you follow track and field or the Olympics or anything. If you're Usain Bolt and you get off to a bad start, you're still going to beat everybody in the field, all right, because he's amazing. But band can't get up to a bad start. It's bam, here we go. And then the ending also has to have some kind of finality to it. So let's just do bookends right now. Here's the top one more time. I think you can engage that All right, a little bit more. 1, from the top. Listen, lead trumpet. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. I thought the transitions going in and out of the samba and swing were effectively done. So obviously you spend time on that. But make sure you sell it. You know, if your concert's Monday, make sure everybody understands that we got a kind of a dual idea here as far as style is concerned. I'm just reading a couple notes. Dynamics, you know, I've underlined that a couple times. Now, when we come to the solo section, which is very important in every tune that you play. Very nice job over here on the piano solo. Okay, now I'm going to mention a couple things. If you folks were upstairs, where they have, you know, the adjudicators that you hate to see, storing stuff and all that, and talking and funny things, they're going to probably mention something, and most of you are privy to this. If there's a guided solo, which there is in most of these arrangements, because the folks that you picked as arrangers and composers, Camaro and Volpe and Mark Taylor, are all very strong writers, and they understand that maybe sometimes we have to give an area, an idea. So there's a piano solo written down, and I thought you did a real nice job playing that. Now, if you're being scored, a lot of adjudicators will say no points for playing a written solo. That's not improvisation, that's called interpretation. However, here's the first thing. What should we do with that? The first thing I would do with that, and I do this with all my students, is to embellish what's already there. If you take a couple notes out, put a couple notes in. Now, the second time around, that was all about you, right? Okay? Because they only give you that solo once. So we had a combination with a Prius going on here. She was playing what was exactly, you know, or close to what was on the page. Second time around, it was all about you. All right? So you would get credit for improvisation. If you read a solo in an adjudicated, you know, scenario, often an adjudicator will not give you credit for that. Now, that's a lot of points. You know that, right, Charlie? I mean, it could be 20, 25 points in the score all the way down. So the first thing I would do for any of you, the greatest jazz hero, I think, of all times, arguably, was Louis Armstrong. And he was the first person to do something what we call ornamentation or embellishment. And so what he would do, he'd play a tune, and he would just kind of play around it. And therefore, he would still have glimpses of the written solo or the melody, but he would just go on an offshoot and then come back around again. So I would recommend that to anybody. First of all, it gives you confidence. You got something to latch onto. Secondly of all, you start to spread your wings and try some things out and come back in to a point later when you're just reading chord changes and making up your own thing. So that's just kind of an overall thing for everybody. I want to make a couple comments real fast. To have that instrument in the band is a big plus. Okay, I have nothing against electric bass, but this literature here requires acoustic. So you're doing a great job over there. And I know we got a lot of players over here that are alternating around because every school's got 500 drummers, so I know it's not a chance for all of you to play on everything. But I think it's great that you have an opportunity to do that. Can I hear just the rhythm section for a second? Charles, we can go for a bit, right? Once my head Cronin is going to be running in here probably, but we got to start early. Rhythm, can you guys and lady do me a favor? Just play from 23, okay? Now, I am the drive-by band director, but I'm not here right now. So he's got sent to the office. So who's going to kick the tune off at 23? One of you guys has to do that.
I'll do it.
You got it? Go ahead. 23, cheers.
1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go.
Now, remember I said the room's a little strong, right? I would take the drums down a little bit, all right? And look, what are you doing on guitar up here? Just, yeah, let me hear it. Yeah, why don't you simplify that a little bit? Just go a little bit more, you know, twos and fours. You know why? Because you're getting married to that hi-hat over there. All right, and you're also the right center. So you're giving all fours, but you're also going that. When you kicked it off, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. This is finger snapping, right? It's all up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up one, up two, up three. We play upbeats, okay? He's anchoring the downbeat stuff. So let's take a little bit off the drum set, okay? A little bit more harmonic. This we're going to call you Freddie Green, okay? And over here, you know, piano you kind of fit in between. This is what we call comping, accompanying for the band or the solos. One more time, 23, you got it.
1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go.
I would say when you get to the samba, you can probably even sell it a little bit more. And you might want to get one of your drummers to like do one of these in between. So you got the swing happening, and then all of a sudden you got a shaker. And so we know, because normally when Hank Mobley did this tune, it was straight ahead the whole time. So Tomorrow's giving it a different flavor. All right? Okay, let me move ahead. Hey, folks, can we go to 63? Brasses, I'd like to listen to you folks with just drums. Okay, at 63, I'll give you 2 bars. Here we go. 63. This is backgrounds and just drums for now. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 10. Why did I want just him with you folks? Because he's playing the kicks with you. All right? Did you hear that highlighted by the drum kick? All right? That part is written in. That's why I said good arrangers will put some information in there. Other people will just kind of give them bars to play. All right? So let's make sure we line that up. And you know what? I think your attitude, I guess in DC they call it an attitude, but your attitude at 63 can be a little bit more. All right? Right now it sounds like this to me. Okay? Who cares? You know, and it doesn't quite have that spark. All right? So let's see if we can nail these things down. Now, there's a dot at 64 on beat 3. Your timing was good. Dots are called dits in jazz. Very few people use dits. I would use a dat. As a matter of fact, in the Dave Volpe chart, he actually writes the word D-A-H-T in there. It's a play, rooftops like that. So I would go after that third beat with a little bit more energy, okay? Articulation depth, whatever we call it. Okay, so just drums and horns. Okay, here we go. Saxophone drum break. 1, 63, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. There you go. I didn't want you to get confused, but remember at the end of that figure, it's different, right? Before you guys jump into 71, you got something different to do there. But to me, it felt like we were a little bit more together. Now we're understanding how to cross-reference the band, all right? And it's got a little bit more spark to it. And to me, behind a solo player, like in this case, piano, it just kind of adds something rather than detracts. Because the focus is on her, all right? My camera's right here. Solo time, solo time. But I've got a big camera, so I got you all in it. But if you guys aren't right, boy, it gets out of focus. I start going over here and it's blurry and like, what's going on over here with the trumpets and drums? We're not accompanying her the way we should. Let's put her in the mix now. Rhythm section we're in at 63. Rate is 63. Here we go. Brass tune, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Bar 69 and 70, right? Because I don't think we're agreeing. But that's just something that, you know, it's individual. The other thing I wanted to mention, I'm sorry I don't know everybody's names here. Your name is?
Quan.
Quan, okay. Do me a favor. How many solos do we have here? 4? 4 solos, okay? If you can, and this goes to all the drummers, okay? This is kind of your job, guys. When you have multiple solos, see if you can change your bag of tricks. If we're sitting here doing this all day long, there's one solo going, okay, piano's gone, saxophone's gone, trombone's gone. You know, we're not really paying attention to the solo. So maybe behind her, you're a little bit more light because that, unless it's amplified. You know, that might be the area you want to concentrate on, tucked in. All right? Maybe he starts taking off, bam, you start going to the rising, okay? You guys got to look for variety because in the Allen wrenches you got over here, don't stay with the same ones all the time. It's got to change up So now we've got something that's added other than